Hello, and welcome to Business Matters, the show about people behind businesses that help make Tacoma a great place to live and work. I'm your host, Mike Wark, and on this episode of In the Spotlight, we'll stitch together a story of a Tacoma business founded on the art of sewing. District Focus takes us on a guided tour through the South Tacoma Business District. Then, on Tacoma Means Business, Andrew Fry kicks back as he explains how to relax, refresh, and take a break from your small business responsibilities. And today, my guest is Matt Tolentino, who's the founder and CEO of Namatad. Welcome, Matt.
Hi, Mike.
It's great to have you here today, not only because you've got this great new business you're ready to launch, but you're an inventor and a professor at UW-Tacoma, and so just have a great story here. So tell us about Namatad. What do you do?
So Namatad is a company I founded out of my research lab from UW-Tacoma. We were working on this problem of solving what's called a Mayday scenario or a lost firefighter scenario with the Tacoma Fire Department.
That sounds really cool. So what kind of lab is it? What sort of, is it engineering or computing?
Yeah, I'm a professor in the electrical and computer engineering
Okay.
program or department at the School of Engineering at UW-Tacoma, and I teach classes in electrical and computer engineering. My background is in hardware and software systems. So my lab tends to focus on edge computing or cyber physical systems or wearable systems.
And UW-Tacoma was lucky enough to attract you from Intel, which was your previous employer, is that right?
That's right. Well, I used to be on the advisory board representing Intel for UW-Tacoma.
Yeah, so you're an advisor to the program, and then they hired you.
Slowly came into being faculty here.
So you teach, UW-Tacoma hired you to teach, but faculty at universities also do research. So you had a research lab, and part of that is you engage students.
That's correct.
And so how did that lead to Namatad?
Well, we'd actually been working on a problem of integrating devices into buildings to make smart buildings.
Okay.
And we did that. We applied a bunch of machine learning techniques into these devices, and we were able to detect occupancy from simple things like environmental sensors. And
interesting. Okay.
So I met with the city and Pat Beard, and she said, you really should talk to fire and police. And
so that's the economic development department that Pat
That's
said.
correct.
She sent you to the fire department.
She did. So we met with Fire Chief Jim Duggan and several other people there, and they were interested in that, but really we started having a brainstorming session into what their current challenges are.
And that was when a building's on fire, they send firefighters in, and there's not a good way to keep track of them in there once it's filled with smoke and flames and things are falling apart.
Right. Look, the firefighters do an amazing job with actually very little.
Right.
And so, I think the fire chief described it best when he said, we've got great technology in all devices, all the trucks as they're driving around town. He can see where everybody is. But as soon as they cross that threshold into the building, they're back in the 1800s.
And that's scary.
It is. And if you get lost or, you get injured or, it's completely blacked out, how do you figure out where you go?
And there's numbers behind this, right? Firefighters lose their lives, like how many?
So on average, about 100 people lose their lives and about 25,000 injuries per year just in the U.S.
So you're not only finding a way to apply really interesting technology and engage students in learning at a high level, you're going to be saving lives.
That's the intent.
That's really cool. So what did you do? What did Namatad come up with to deal with this problem?
Well, I got to say, this is the hardest system I've ever built, right? And I used to work on all the advanced Intel CPUs and chipsets for server platforms. This one is much harder. So what we did was actually designed and built a number of wearable devices that go onto the firefighters. And what those do...
badges or just things you could clip on?
Yeah, we've done a couple different form factors so that we could snap those into their air tank harnesses, for example. Single button, so they just have to turn it on, nothing else.
Make it simple. That's probably part of the deal, right?
Make it simple, yeah. Take the Apple approach, right? Single button or maybe no buttons, right?
Okay.
And so we built a bunch of wearable devices so that we could identify where they are. We built some other devices that they could simply toss on the ground as they go in, sort of as a breadcrumb.
Which would track them, right? Help track them.
Exactly. And then we coupled that with a server that we mount on the truck so that we can do real-time analytics on scene.
So you could have a little screen and whoever's the commander is could look and see where the firefighters are.
Exactly.
So did it work?
It does work. It does work,
But you had some challenges.
Oh my God, the first year was just awful. This is where we just passed the 2-year mark on this project. The first year was filled with failure.
Yeah, and the challenge, as I understand it, was that you couldn't figure out how to. Once they're inside, everything's on fire. So none of the systems inside the building are working. So how do you keep track of it? How do you get the signal from the firefighter to the screen where the commander's watching?
That's exactly right. Even existing indoor systems like that.
Yeah.
You don't have to worry about getting the data out. Usually you're connected to a router. And you can rely on existing infrastructure. We can rely on nothing. The first thing they're going to do is cut the power to the building.
Oh, okay.
And so you can't use the building's Wi-Fi system.
So it's not just that it burned up, it's just they cut the power for safety purposes.
Right. So this system had to be completely self-contained so that the only thing we were relying on was what they're bringing with them. So how does it communicate? Well, all the devices within that they deploy, as well as all the firefighters themselves, actually form a dynamically deployed mesh network. So we're able to get that data out and relay it through everybody and all the devices out to the server, where then we apply some different analytics and machine learning techniques to it, and then deliver it out to an iPad or other kind of tablet.
Okay, sounds easy, simple, got that. I'm sure that, yeah. So what was the secret that helped you get through to find the solution that worked?
Repeatedly trying and banging your head against the wall and not getting it right. So like I said, we spent the first year going through all of the existing techniques and technologies. So we went back to the literature and said, okay, well, how have people done this in the past? We tried all of those. They didn't work. And so, and even when we got something to work, I think it was really last summer, I had this I was reading some papers and I thought, I think this might work. And so we tried it and it did. And it really changed everything. So we went from there and started building that system up.
Okay, so you've got the system and now you have the product. It's ready to go, right?
Correct.
So after all this time, you're an inventor, you got students involved with this, now you have a product, and so you're a professor, and now you're going to start a business.
That's right.
So how did you do that?
Well, so, there's a research side, which is what we've been doing up to this point, but now we're to the point where it works.
Right.
And so, we've been going through the process of working with the Tacoma Fire Department to do a lot of testing on their training facility down on the Tide Flats.
Okay.
And then on the UW side, I've been, filing IP and getting the patents secured, and then going through the licensing process with CoMotion.
So IP is intellectual property.
That's correct.
It's getting the legal rights to protect your invention.
Correct.
And Seattle, University of Washington, Seattle has people that are experts in that. And then CoMotion supports entrepreneurship tech startups.
That's right.
And they're helping you build all the business side, right?
That's correct. And in fact, we just got a recent grant through the National Science Foundation to go through further customer discovery. So looking beyond just Tacoma Fire, but now looking at other size fire departments, as well as potentially other areas where this could be useful.
So you're going to have a business, and it'll focus initially on fire, and then you have some other potential uses. What's one that's promising? The one we're most excited about is actually deploying this kind of these techniques, or a version of it, to schools. Schools.
Yes.
How does that? You install it in the student's ID card?
That's right. So we want to replace the ID card that they have now.
Okay.
And give them the form factor for the devices we have now is basically the size of a badge, right? What we would normally use to swipe in to go into an office building. And so our idea is to make sure that every student has one of those, which then with some devices mounted around the schools can show exactly where students are. So now if you have an emergency event, as a parent, you don't have to, guess where your student is, or have to, look at the news to figure out, okay, where do I go to meet them? So if we have one of these really bad situations, as we see in the news, like an active shooter,
you'll be able to see,
you'll be able to see not only where your kid is, but how they got there and where they are.
Interesting, and the emergency responders will be able to do that too.
That's right, because we've already been working with the emergency responders, they would be immediately hooked into that system to see where everybody is.
And meanwhile, if your kid tells you they were someplace that they weren't, you'll know.
That's right.
It's going to change life as we know it. So what's next? We've got developing your business plan, you're getting help with that. You've got somebody to manufacture. How does that work?
Right. So we've gone through, as part of this, as a 2-year process, we've got 15 different prototypes that we've gone through in terms of the devices, lots of different versions in the software. And we've actually been talking to a couple of manufacturers about how to further consolidate our design and get it into a form factor that would be heat resistant and impact resistant.
So there's that component. And then I would imagine this is going to cost money. So is that part of your next steps as well?
It is. The next step is to start raising some funding to further scale out.
And you're looking for investment?
That's correct. Yeah, we started talking to some venture capitalists. Yeah. We've got a lot more to talk to.
Very exciting. And so this is going to be a company in Tacoma.
That's right.
It's going to be one of these spin-offs out of the University of Washington right here in Tacoma. Is that right?
That's exactly right. Yeah, our intention is to keep it here. Our first collaborative partner is here. The university has been incredibly supportive, and we want to build these kind of companies here.
That's really exciting, and I'm sure we'll see a lot more of this. This is a great example of what a university does for a community, startup businesses. I'm hoping this will be the first of several of your businesses.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I'm hoping so.
And then your students who've experienced this will go on and start their businesses, and it's just a really exciting story. Matt, we could talk for an hour, I'm sure, but we're out of time. Okay. So thanks for joining us today on Business Matters.
Hey, thanks for having me, Mike. This has been great.
Coming up next, the South Tacoma Business District on District Focus. Connecting people to business is what Tacoma is all about. The South Tacoma Business District is a neighborhood rich with retail opportunities, a thriving, diverse shopping area that meets the needs of people on the go.
Hi, I'm Brenda.
I'm Karen,
and welcome to the South Tacoma Business District.
The South Tacoma Business District is a variety of small independent businesses providing goods and services for the residential community around us. It was originally formed around the railroad in the late 1890s, and so that's basically how the whole community got started. As cars became more available, then we became Auto Row, and so that's how we became South Tacoma, known for automobiles.
In the district, we have our artwork, we have the bank, we have the horse, which is Old 99. This is Old Highway 99. Then we have the wheel, we have a bunch of artwork, the mural on the back side of Heritage Bank here on the corner. We do our jazz festival every year. We have the South Tacoma Auto Show every year, our car show, which is really a very large car show.
The other events, the music festivals that we've had, the jazz festival and the reggae events, have been put on by various business owners that have nightlife venues, and they've come up with these various ideas, and they've been fun events. Every summer we put up 100 hanging flower baskets, and the flower baskets are planted and nurtured by the students at Matt Tolentino High School. We have a 30-gallon water cart that they pull around, and they were watered every day, and they were huge. They were just beautiful. We have a variety of restaurants, from Mexican to American to Italian, specialty restaurants. So we have a lot of destination businesses. People come here just for that. What I've heard from a lot of the business owners is that they would like to see more streetscape improvements, more beautification projects. So we're working towards that with our planning and design committee.
There are many different things happening right now, and we don't have a particular direction that we're aiming for. Economic viability obviously is something that we're striving for, and we're working in tangent with the city to try and accomplish that as quickly as possible. But it is South Tacoma, so we'll see where we end up.
For more information on experiencing Tacoma business, log on to experiencetacoma.com. When we return, Andrew Fry will tell us ways to relax and enjoy life as a small business owner. There is a saying, when you own a small business, you sleep like a baby, waking up every 3 hours screaming, worrying about the details. On this edition of Tacoma Means Business, Andrew Fry talks about ways to take a calming break from the responsibilities of owning your own business.
One of my favorite things about being so embedded in the entrepreneurial space, whether I'm teaching entrepreneurship or working on my own small company, is the group of people who are also entrepreneurs, and you get to share your experiences and the ups and the downs. And I was just speaking to a friend of mine who is not only a barista but also owns and operates the coffee shop that she works in, about what it's like to be an entrepreneur. And what she said was, a friend said, isn't it glamorous being this owner of a business? And certainly there might be those small occasions when that's the case, but believe me, being a small business owner, being an entrepreneur is not glamorous most of the time. In fact, it can actually be very daunting, which we've said about in numerous occasions in terms of what you think about, what you have to do, where you plan, the energy that you expend. But believe me, we've also talked about how much it's worth it, the highs and the lows, and being an entrepreneur. But here is a few pieces of advice for those who have just discovered success in their business and realize it seems their life is no longer their own. First of all, and this is a tough one, get your rest. All right, that sounds simple. Get your rest, because you go to bed at night and what do you do for the next hour? Think about the business. Think about the customers. Think about the price. Think about the new products. Stop, go to bed, relax, find a routine and get your sleep. You need to get rest. It's simple as that. And you'll find that being an entrepreneur, that is not necessarily an easy thing to do. The next thing is, okay, you've got your rest. That doesn't mean you're done. Find moments for relaxation. Find what works for you. Maybe it's a massage that you get every 2 weeks. Maybe it's a walk down on the waterfront. Maybe it's just escaping for a moment or two during the day. Or maybe you take up meditation. Whatever it is, schedule in times for yourself to relax. Because when you're a small business person, you are bombarded from all directions, from all sorts of people in terms of the business. And that's great, because that means you're successful. Find time to relax. Take a vacation. How can you take a vacation? You're a small business owner. You'll take a vacation 5 years from now when it's time to, when you have that opportunity. And I hear people brag about that. I haven't taken a vacation in 5 years. Stop. Take a vacation. Recharge. Get your rest. Find relaxation time. Take a vacation. And, especially when things are tough, go ahead and take those moments to enjoy those tiny bits of glamorous victories. Those moments when you say, I just made a customer happy. I just launched a new product. I just opened a new division. I just opened a second store. All of those are big moments. Take the time to celebrate those. Because really, when it comes down to it, we're dealing with a lot of the heartache. Let's also deal with the success.
Thanks, Andrew. For more advice about launching and growing your business, check out Tacoma's Community and Economic Development Program at makeittacoma.com. When Business Matters returns, we'll visit a Tacoma business focused on teaching the art of working with fabric. In the Spotlight. Today in the Spotlight, we take a stitch in time and focus on the artistic ingenuity of a textile makerspace in Tacoma's Theater District.
Hi, I'm Nara McDonald.
And I'm Erin Sevier.
Welcome to the Productivity Parlour.
We're a textile makerspace.
Owners Erin and Nara refer to their business as a textile makerspace. Known as the Productivity Parlour for Artful Living, their business plan is keeping their customers' sewing skills as sharp as a needle.
A textile makerspace takes us back to the idea of home ec. It's no longer taught in schools, most schools, and it's a skill that everybody should have. Everything from repairing hems and putting a button back on instead of throwing things away. So what we do here is we teach people how to do that.
Customers range from those interested in bringing some creative brilliance into their closets to exotic representations of reality in the performing arts. Their business plan includes everything from a range of classes to supporting those using equipment in their makerspace.
We also work a lot with costumers of all types, historical reenactors, cosplayers who want to make huge costumes for conventions. Sewing is a skill that goes way beyond just making a shirt and a pair of pants.
The primary goal of Productivity Parlour is training customers in the art of sewing, a skill Nara and Erin believe is disappearing from many American households.
The textile makerspace has space and machines for people to use even if they don't have machines themselves.
But we also do very focused classes. So Sewing Machine 101, you just got a new machine, you inherited a machine, you just want to pick up the skill, and we have machines that you can use.
Aaron and Nara's business is all about educating customers to sew. It's their main source of income, which is augmented with alterations, theatrical costuming, and an array of supplemental services.
We've made wedding gowns, we've made historical items for live action role play and SCA people.
The training and support portion of the business requires mentoring and coaching customers on a can-do sewing philosophy to build up confidence while working the machines. Some of the clients come needing support in specialized skills and attire.
So we've had a couple of non-binary and transgender clients who want to make the clothes that they buy be more expressive of who they are. And so we can help them with either doing the alterations for them, or teaching them how to do it so they can do that whenever they would like.
Mentoring is a valuable skill in this business. At Productivity Parlour, encouragement is their stock and trade.
We kind of do a little bit of everything, but really our goal is to kind of coach people on building these skills and to take the fear away from using a sewing machine.
From manufacturing to service industries, the one common thread is the little things, the routine responsibilities of business ownership.
There's administrative paperwork, taxes, answering emails, answering social media questions, and scheduling. There's the everyday stuff like taking the garbage out.
Dual business ownership has its pluses. It allows rest and relaxation for partners working 110%, 7 days a week.
We try and give each other days off during the week because you can burn out really quick working 60 hours a week.
Yes, there are sales, but the shop's bread and butter earnings come from helping customers perfect the art of sewing and the availability of equipment to ensure they can be productive.
We have a little bit of retail business here because we sell some local art and costumes. The focus is the textile makerspace.
The future of Productivity Parlour includes a community investment. NARA would like to provide some sort of home economics instruction to schools in order to keep the art of sewing a part of core educational needs.
We would love to see getting kids excited about creating their own clothes and creating their own style.
Aaron and Nara both feel locating in Tacoma was a wise investment in the arts, crafts, and skills of a community.
Downtown Tacoma is vibrant and it has a lot of soul, and we love the art scene here.
What we do is an art, it's also a skill, and we're excited to share that with people.
That's it for Business Matters. Join me next time for more insight into the Tacoma business scene. See you then.